Hi.
Hey guys.
Good afternoon or morning, almost afternoon.
Wherever you are in the world. It's the Connie and Mark Show. Woo! We're coming to you once again from the beautiful Berkshires in Western Massachusetts. What's happening right now? Okay, good.
After a week of being open successfully, great numbers, everyone's pretty much following the protocols. Just with a few reminders, it's easy to get lulled into we're back and I want to say hi to people. Go outside and say hi and linger. Otherwise, we just have to kind of come in and do our classes and then leave. And then we clean. And then we do the next class.
So we had last week was like incredible attendance, considering that it's July, which is historically slower, but also that we, all the safety measures that are happening and things like that, we get it. It's inconvenient and wonky and stuff, but
it's better than not training.
Yep. And everybody, we didn't have one person complain last week, and the opposite. They were, excited,
comforted by what we're doing, so we can train.
That we're doing the safety measures we're doing, and even the mask. No one passed out or had a big problem with that. And I get it. We have to wear it for 4 or 5 hours at a time, and I know there are people, that their profession requires them to do 8 or 10 hours at a time. So, imagine that. But like we've been saying, the upside is that it will make your cardio better ultimately. So there's you always got to look at the bright side, right? But
we're providing the right number of breaks. When we've talked about this before, when you get a drink break, you roll it up temporarily, facing away from the rest of the people. Get your drink, put your drink down, roll it back down, get back into your, facing the other people and instructors. So, and just remember, while you're training, keep the mask up the best you can. And if you're having trouble, then maybe you need to look at ways to make the mask smaller or wear a different kind. We are providing the one complimentary ZenQuest gator style mask, but for some people maybe that's not as easy to use or stay on your face and that kind of thing. And the most important thing to us is that you have something that can stay on your nose and your mouth the way it's supposed to during training.
And doesn't restrict your breathing too much.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. So, but based on the latest information we can find, there are no new cases or existing cases in Berkshire County. I mean, and Massachusetts overall has done a great job of dealing with this situation, and so we're going to keep that trend going. And
partly because people are listening and wearing their coverings in public and when training and things like that.
Right,
so.
Right. It's not a perfect situation. It never is, but I think it's important to do intelligent. The only measures we have right now to fight this thing. But we're again, look at the bright side. We're able to train. We're able to do something.
See people in person we haven't seen in months, which has been great. The next thing to kind of take a look at is remind people. Class sizes are limited. Eventually, the number of people that can be in a class will increase, and eventually it'll go back to a situation where we won't have to really limit the classes. But, in order to maintain the proper social distancing, even with face coverings, we only can have a certain number of people in each class. So there's a couple things to remind you. Number one, if you tell us what class you're going to do, it's better probably, I'm kind of tracking that the most, so if you can let me know what class you're going to do, so there's no confusion, then you'll get on the list and you'll stay on those lists until you contact me otherwise. You've had a schedule change or, that sort of thing. But you're permanently on the lists you tell me. So keep it in your routine. Make it part of your routine, and we're asking people, to do a maximum of 3 classes per week. on the list. Now, how do we manage if someone contacts me and says, "Look, I'm have to stay home today, or my work schedule this week is a little different. I won't be in this class." Then, if someone's on the waiting list or someone has said, "Hey, if you have room tonight, I can make it," then we'll let you know. That's how we're managing that kind of flexibility. So, even if you have a new person that you want to bring in, you have to make sure that the class you're going to have them try, there's room for them to try it.
Yeah.
We can't as much as we would like to, we have to stay in the limits.
Or even if they just want to watch a class, we need to sort of make an appointment to do that.
Yeah,
just
because
to control stuff.
Yeah, technically no one's supposed to just kind of, once you put your shoes in the fitness room, you need to be in the room or out the door, right? So,
Nothing personal.
No, it's just, one of the reasons why classes are a little shorter too is just those are the best guidelines in terms of people staying in one space at the same time all together over a period of time, especially when you're exercising. And even though the intensity of the classes is may not be as high as usual, it's still more than if you're just standing or walking a little bit. So all of that kind of thing goes into play in terms of time, numbers of people, and moving in and out of the building. It's one way, come in the front door, and then people are exiting through the fitness room. Review the phase 1 things if you forget what you're supposed to do. There was something else I was going to add, and it'll
I don't
come
know,
back.
but while you're thinking of it, let's, to be clear, it's not necessary to contact us each week to tell us
Confirm.
what classes you want to do. Just, pick the classes you want to do and then stick with that,
Yeah.
as much as possible, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's just, and it's kind of a nightmare keeping track of
Right.
people changing every week or
Well, it's
something
just,
like
it's
that.
not,
We just can't do it. It's not.
the mistakes will get made that way more. So it's really important. The other thing is, the reason why we're encouraging people to kind of stick to being on a permanent list, 3 classes per person, is just because we don't want one person coming to 12 classes and someone else not get to do any. It doesn't, like I said, doesn't mean there isn't flexibility if your I know some of you have work schedules that can change, that you don't, and it may only be a week. You say, "Look, I'm not going to be in tonight, I'm usually there, but I won't be there." Just so I know there is a slot if someone wants to try a class or someone else wants to hop in. So that's how we're handling that. But overall, and most of you have been really good about that. Most of you have been saying, "I don't want to take up too many spaces." So that's the right way to approach it. And that's for kids and adults. The youngest kids, you generally come one time anyway, but, well, that's the kids 8 and under. Everyone else has the other option. But so I know this kind of thing is new to the adults. You've never had to register for a class to attend. For our youth students, unless you're a new youth student, most parents and students should have experienced this year after year, where you tell us the classes you're going to designate, the classes you're going to be in, and that's the classes you're in
During the busy
time.
times,
But it's the same thing now, and
So-
we're busier than we expected.
Yeah. So what's likely to happen is going into August, September, and who knows, even October, they will probably start to relax the restrictions as far as class sizes and things like that, and who knows what else, the mask, I don't know. But as the class sizes get bigger, we're also going into the time of the year where it's usually the busiest, right? So we go from the time of the year when it's the least busy to the most busy. Getting into the especially the winter months. Sorry. So it's possible we'll be dealing with these issues, for a while, where you got to reserve your classes and then sort of try to stick to that.
Mm-hmm.
So but so all I can say is we're doing the best we can to manage all this, and we're just asking for some consideration and understanding with this, so that we can get the most amount of people in the door that we can, and B, to be fair to everybody that wants to train, so.
And on the flip side of that, if you want to come in, don't wait too long. because
Yeah.
your choices may be limited. You know, we will put people on wait lists and let you know if things change. You know, and when the class numbers can increase, then that we'll be able to bump people into those classes as well. But
Right.
you know, obviously we want there to be more people in a class. It's good for the dojo to have more people.
Supposed
You
to say
know,
gym.
but
No one says dojo anymore.
I don't care. I'm saying dojo.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I've actually had people say to me online mostly, "What's a dojo?"
Well, then they need to
Like,
do their
man.
research.
Everybody knows what that is.
They need to
If
do
you
their
ever watched,
research.
if you've ever watched the Ninja Turtles, which I can't imagine someone who hasn't, you know what that is. Come on, man, stop it. Anyway,
Gym just sounds
enough.
so elementary school to me. Sorry.
really, that's the contemporary language. You gotta.
Yeah, I know it's
but
contemporary, but the funny thing to me
I'm
is,
kidding, of course.
let me finish. The funny thing to me is,
Yeesh.
gym is something that we used, you know, back in the when I was a kid. Everything, go to gym, go to the gym, go to the gym, blah blah blah. So it's funny that these contemporary isn't really contemporary. It's just revisiting an old word. So I think it's
Well,
funny.
if you're in Okinawa and you say gym, people probably won't know what you're talking about. So I guess it's all context. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm joking. You know that. I'm trying to be funny. This is me being funny. So what else do we got to talk about here? Yeah, I don't know. I guess
Nothing.
That's probably it. All right.
Just make sure. So remember, review the phase 1 guidelines. Make sure you come in and you follow them to the best of your ability. You know, one of the reasons why we have you take your shoes off as soon as you come in the front door is so that we don't track the pollen and things that are all over the floor, so we can keep the floors clean, and more sanitary. You know, yeah. So take your shoes off, get your temperature checked, put your shoes away in the fitness room, go into your designated classroom, and then
And have a ball.
yeah.
I know
train.
one thing we can talk about. We ordered 2 more grappling dummies because we need them, you know, and especially even if we have a situation where we go to 10 students per class, for example, and we still need to do that part of it, you know, we'll be good. But I think anybody who was in most people who were in a jiu-jitsu class last week using the grappling dummies, we've got a couple of them are too big for children, and one of them is just like impossible to try to throw and things like that. Man, it's crazy. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like the dummy from Purgatory or something. But anyway, so dummies are on the way, and people who helped us stuff before, feel free to jump in and shred some clothes.
Well,
some more
here's the
clothes.
thing. Would be really helpful. I'm going to just say this. If you do have clothing, number one, it should be cotton-based clothing. No sweaters or anything like that. They're not very practical. Old sheets and towels, old like cotton shirts and things are the best.
Yeah.
And if you really want to be helpful, before you give them to us,
Shred them.
cut them up and shred them. Anyway, it may be too much to ask, but
I think probably.
but if you can, you know, if you're sitting around watching a movie, get everyone a pair of scissors and
We'll probably have the
cut
same,
away.
the same 2 or 3 people that helped us before.
Yeah, probably.
do that. No, maybe not at all.
But
They know what
when
it
we get
means now, so they'll run in the other direction.
So yeah, so not in addition to having to stuff the new ones that are coming, we have to probably put more stuffing in some of the ones that we already did,
That's
just
right.
because we knew that was going to happen, you know, because the stuff moves around and it's hard to,
It settles,
you know, settle.
apparently.
Yeah, especially in the arms because they aren't very useful if they can't be.
Oh, I know
They're
something
too
we need
floppy.
to say. So last week we live streamed a couple of classes,
Yeah.
but you know, right now it's kind of labor intensive to have to clean the mats and surfaces and all that between the classes and
The shoe racks,
dealing with, you know,
doorknobs.
helping students and new people coming back in and things like that. So it's really just not practical to do that. So we're gonna pause that for now. And you know, if the fall comes and we're we have a different situation, maybe we'll restart that or something.
Well, here's the
But
thing: you have access to a lot of those videos and things that we did during the quarantines when we couldn't be open.
Right.
So those of you who are continuing, you know, some level of membership to do that. So, you know. It's probably okay. You want to cycle back to the first ones, you'll get a different lesson plan again. You know what I mean? So
there
that's
should
kind of
be 10 or
so.
12 weeks of each class, recorded classes for each program, I think. So
And if you really can't do that, you can set up private
virtual
lessons.
privates
Yep.
or in-person privates.
Yep.
You know, it's another way to go. So,
Yeah.
but you know, there's a will, there's a way.
But yeah, it's just
So-
not practical to live stream classes. Sorry.
It's too mad.
And it cuts in and out. You know,
does.
it
We tried doing
wasn't
that last
working
week
really
and
well. So
It's just,
yeah.
sorry. We apologize for that, but hey, we're right now. We want to focus on our, you know, the in-person classes again, and all the things that we have to do to make that happen. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, we'll think of something after we get off. But thank you. Thanks everybody for, you know, all the people that are enthusiastic about training, man. We appreciate that, and we appreciate your dedication, and we're just happy to be able to do this again. You know, we've navigated this thing the best we could, and we're probably, everything's going to be good, I think. But you know, we couldn't do it without your help, so thank you for that. And that's it. We'll
Yes.
see you in classes soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Later.